complete nightmare for the farmers. You're seeing a 90% failure rate. For the brands, the retailers, the manufacturers, the distributors, they're all going under. You're seeing mergers left and right. You had Weed Maps that was worth 200 million when they went public. You had you had Herbal, this distribution company, probably worth 600 million. They're worth a couple hundred. You can go down Cookies. Cookies was worth 800 million at the tops. They're probably worth a quarter of that. So you're watching these brands that just got devastated. And so what the market is, it's just a complete mess right now across the board. The hope for the farmers really, I say, 90% or, 75 to 90% of the farmers are going to be gone, but the rest of them that are left are going to do pretty good over the next couple of years because there's going to be a real shortage of quality cannabis, craft cannabis coming out of these hills in the next couple of years because everybody's gone. So the ones that are left standing are going to do okay. Most companies on the larger level are merging. You're watching all these distributors merge. You're watching all the retailers merge. Everybody's coming in. CannaCraft had to merge with March and Ash to get themselves safe. And so everybody's having to find a way to merge. And that's kind of the way our capitalist society is, isn't it? If you look at technology, I mean, IBM and Apple chew everybody up and buy them all up. And it becomes, there are 20 companies underneath them. Once we can get direct sales, and that's what I've been advocating heavily for. I mean, where do farmers in California sell most of their traditional products? They go to farmers markets. Every city and county has farmers markets. And if you don't have a big city, you go somewhere else. You go to Santa Cruz or something and you sell your products. Well, if you could take cannabis into a farmer's market in downtown Santa Cruz and sell, then you'd have direct to consumer money where you could get all the money. You wouldn't have a distributor. You wouldn't have all the rest of it. It would be direct sales. And that's what we need. The Origins Council is advocating for that. We really need that direct to consumer sales model. And we need as many events as possible, not just the Emerald Cup, but as many events so that you can get direct sales to these consumers and get your story out, because it's hard for the farmers to get on these shelves. They're competing against so many brands and so many people, they can't get their story out. Now, we've done an amazing thing at the Emerald Cup or Harvest Ball this year. Harborside, which we all know Steve D'Angelo evangelized for that large-scale farming. He had 45 acres in Salinas. He brought corporate money in. He went out then and tried to talk about saving small farmers and being anti-corporate, and the community tore him to pieces. He just got it. I think he moved to Jamaica and hid because he realized he wasn't going to pull that one off. And I was talking about that at the Hall of Flowers speaking, and Angela Pia, who's the head of marketing for State House and Harborside, heard me and came up and said, we want to help change that. We know what we did. We weren't part of that, but our company is, and we want to help. So they created a program to bring small craft farmers onto their shelves. And we got together with the Origins Council and Chris Anderson from Redwood Roots and Nick Smiglies and MCA and all of us and said, how do we make peace with Harborside and use that as a model for everybody else? And there was a lot of animosity. It took a lot of back and forth negotiations because there was a lot of animosity. At first, it was like, okay, if they just apologize publicly, we can do this. And so Harborside said they'd do that. But then it became, no, they've got to advocate for direct-to-consumer sales in the state. And so, I had to go back. And Harborside said they'd do that. And then it was like, no, they've also got to advocate on a federal level. And I went, oh, my gosh, I got to go back to Harborside again. And I thought they were going to just throw us out. They were actually going to walk away because they were going to sponsor the Small Farms Program. But they stuck with it, God bless them. They're Ed and Angela were really cool people. They realized how important this was. And they stuck with us. They did that. We brought them into the Harvest Ball. And it was such a success that Glass House has reached out to me and wants to be part of the same thing. Cookies has talked about it. All these big retailers are realizing, you know what? We can't just be monocrop, big scale ag. We need to have the small farmers, just like when you go into a liquor store, you see the small craft vineyards and whatnot, and we need to support these people. So there was a real healing there. And I think we're going to get a lot more support over the next year from a lot of these dispensaries to help us out. And then we really need the interstate. We need to have federal legalization so we can obviously move across the interstates, because the Emerald Triangle name specifically carries a lot of weight across the country. And God bless everybody. They're going to be able to sell their local crops in New York and Michigan and everywhere else. but they're going to want to see some Emerald Triangle products and some products from throughout California. And so that will give us a real chance to get back into the swing of things. So I think it's going to be tough, but I think over the next 2 years, it's going to be a good turnaround.